Welcome back to the channel, guys. I've had a few requests to talk about how I do my drums and that. To be honest, it's actually quite simple. Yeah, I'm just going to go over the things that I think about when I'm doing drums. Yeah, so let's jump straight into it. So the first thing I think about when I'm thinking about making a drum loop is sound selection. When you're going through all the sounds and you think, oh, that kick sounds really good, oh, that snare sounds really good, but do they go good together? I hear a lot of beats that everything sounds dope, everything sounds tight, but then the snare comes in and it's like, no, that snare's not meant to be there. And I'm sure you've had that same experience, So let's just go through a few sounds here and pick some that we like. When I'm making beats, people have asked me if I use loops or what do I think about loops. Anything, whatever you do, however you make beats is fine. At the end of the day, it's how the beat sounds at the end. Producers and beat makers are using loops. It's just for a time-saving thing. I like to make my own drum loop from scratch for each beat. Just because, just so it has my flavor in it, This pack here is just a free one that I got ages ago, but it's got some dope samples in here. Now, do these go together? They go get together pretty well. But an example of something that doesn't go well together would be like that. That if you're making boom bap, you don't want any trap sounds in there, generally speaking. I mean, music has no rules, you can do whatever you want. It just depends on the sound you're going for. What I usually do is I pull the swing up a lot. That's just a thing that I do, and I usually pull it up to about 60%. Now you can hear the difference when I turn the swing on and off about what swing does. So off, on, it'll give you that different feel to it. Control B, drag it over, or you can go grab it here, right click and drag it, and then Control B, and you won't have to do that dragging of it over like I did the first time. So when I've got things that hit right before another thing, especially with kicks, I know I've told you this before in other videos, sort of duck the volume of the first one a little bit, and it'll give it more of that rhythm. So I've got a snare in there, but if I don't like the sound of one snare, you can just add another snare in there, and it'll give it its own texture and unique sound if you add if you stack sounds like that. So let's use this one here. Control C, Control V. Hear that difference? This is without them both. With them, and it gives it that little extra boost. What I like to do is pull one of the snares out of time a little bit, and it'll just give it that more of a length and texture to the snare. I usually like my drums to be super just full of swing. I like time shift everything, even though the swing's right up to 60. Even the kick, even that, and it gives it more of a a live feel to it. Like someone's actually playing the drums. Once I got the kick and the snare down, that's your main rhythm. From there, you can usually start to hear things that might come up next. Right there, I'm hearing like a kind of an open hat. So I like to add like more than one open hat just to give it some more flavor. And a trick that I like to use, I like to have it hit like just before either a kick and a snare or whatever it might be, and then cut off. How it works is like I'll place this open hat here, and I'll make it so that as soon as this kick hits, it's going to cut that sound off. So these are my two sounds here, the kick and the snare. So grab the snare, go to your wrench tool, you come over here and have it on any numbers, but they've just got to be all of the same. So that's 4, go to your kick and do it 4 over here. I think what doing this is called a choke or a choke point or something like that. But yeah, let's just see how that sounds. I usually turn open hats down quite a bit because they're not meant to be like super in the front. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So what I'm hearing now is like kind of some snare fills or some rolls that can like I could put maybe in the background or something to give it more of like some more movement and texture. With hi-hats, like I found like it's good to have more than one hi-hat going. Yeah, like that. So that sounds good. So do that. No, it's every 8. The thing about building drums is that as soon as you add that next layer, you can hear something else. Things start coming to you. Oh. Where was that though? Kind of feel like a reverse hat in there or something like. So what I like to do when I add that every 2 steps hats in is again, to give it more of that live authentic feel, grab every second one, pull them down slightly in volume, go over here to control and then note pan and pan them out just a little bit, hold shift and then drag, and all of them will drag across uniformly. Control B. So you can sort of hear the hats going like that in each speaker. So once you've added something to the step sequencer here or the channel rack, you don't have to leave the sounds as is. You can actually manipulate those in here. So say that this one here, say you don't want much of that, as much of that click at the start of that hat. You can go into this section here, whatever that's called, envelope, instrument settings, play with the volume envelope, and you can pull this right back like that, and it'll take that harsh crispy sound off the start of it. You can shape all the sounds within here. See how that's got that sort of almost like a reverb after it, or that sort of like that air that you can hear after that snare. You can actually get rid of that if you don't like that. Now, so for those who are wondering about pre-made drum loops, personally, as I said before, I don't use them most of the time. Let's just drag one in here. If you're lucky, the pack that you're getting them from will have the BPM named, so you can sort of just match the BPM with the BPM of your project. If it's not, so let's grab one that's not. Let's go, this one here is 95, but my project's 88. Drag that in. This is very simple. It's just like time stretching any other sample in the playlist. Go into the settings and make sure this is on stretch, and in the playlist make sure that's on stretch up here as well, and then just drag it to the end of the bar. Make sure it's right on there, and as you can see here, the transients will be on grid, and when you play it, those are the things that I think about when I am making drum loops. It's just that matter of building, and then what your ear hears or what your mind hears next, try and place that in there, and then you get a different idea, and it's just all about creativity and just building upon on the previous step. Yeah, so probably in the next video I'll show you guys how I mix my drums after I've built the drum track. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not just a straight beginner and you feel like I've missed something that you have some questions about, please leave them below in the comments, and I'll be sure to help you if I know. If I can help you, I'd be happy to. So yeah, until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.